What if I told you that one of the greatest threats to your peace of mind is not an external disaster, not failure, and not even your enemies, but the words of a liar carefully crafted into a question? Think about it. A single manipulative question can throw you off balance, ignite your emotions, and trap you into saying something you didn't mean. At work, it might sound like, "Don't you think the boss is unfair to you?" In relationships, it might come as, "If you really cared, wouldn't you do this for me?" These questions are not genuine. They are weapons disguised as curiosity. And here's the truth. The Stoics faced this same challenge 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by scheming senators and courtiers. Seneca, advising emperors in a world of betrayal. Epictetus, born into slavery where words could determine survival. They all understood this. Liars will try to control you with questions, but you decide whether to answer as a slave to their manipulation or as a master of your own mind. So how do we respond? That's what today's journey is about. We will uncover 5 specific questions liars ask to control you, and the Stoic wisdom that shows you how to stay unshakable. These aren't abstract theories. They're practical responses you can apply the very next time someone tries to twist your words. And the first one is the loaded question. The liar asks something like, "Don't you think this situation is unfair?" It forces you into a trap. If you agree, you sound resentful. If you disagree, you sound naive. The Stoic way out is not to answer their frame, but to clarify the question. Epictetus teaches, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, 'He did not know my other faults, or he would not have mentioned only these.'" Notice the wisdom. Instead of being defensive, he reframes with clarity and calm. In practice, when faced with a loaded question, you ask back, "What makes you say that?" By shifting the focus, you turn the trap back on the manipulator. They must now reveal their intentions, and often they collapse under the weight of their own deception. The second manipulative question is the guilt trip. "If you cared about me, wouldn't you do this?" Or at work, "If you were a team player, wouldn't you agree with me?" These questions don't seek truth, they demand compliance. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The Stoic answer here is simple yet powerful. Act from principle, not pressure. You can calmly say, "I act according to what I believe is right." No excuses, no justification, no emotional outburst. This stops manipulation dead in its tracks, because liars thrive on your guilt. The moment you stand firm on principle, they realize their strings cannot move you. Already you can see a pattern forming. The Stoics knew that manipulators wanted control, but that control only works if you hand it over. By answering with clarity and principle, you reclaim your power. And as we move into the next 3 manipulative questions, you'll discover how Stoicism teaches us not just to defend against lies, but to transform these encounters into opportunities for strength, self-mastery, and unshakable calm. Let's move to the third manipulative question, the comparison trap. A liar may ask, "Don't you think you're falling behind compared to others?" Or, "Why aren't you successful like them?" On the surface, it looks like concern, but it's poison in disguise. Its goal is to provoke envy, insecurity, and doubt. This is where Marcus Aurelius offers timeless wisdom. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. The insult, the comparison, the manipulation, it only harms you if you accept it. The Stoic way to answer is through perspective. You say, "Success depends on what one values. I focus on progress, not comparison." This recenters the conversation on your own values instead of the manipulator's trap. Seneca adds, "A man is not poor if he can live with little. He is poor if he is never satisfied." Imagine how powerful you appear when you respond not with insecurity, but with calm confidence rooted in perspective. Now, let's look at the fourth manipulative question, the provocation. "Why are you always so weak?" Or, Aren't you tired of failing? These are not real questions. They are emotional grenades meant to spark anger. If you explode, the manipulator wins. Epictetus warned, "If you are ever tempted to look for approval from someone else, know that you have compromised yourself." The Stoic weapon here is silence. Sometimes the strongest answer is no answer at all. Silence communicates. You cannot control me. Think about modern leaders, athletes, or even public speakers. Those who stay composed under provocation appear stronger than those who lash out. Stoicism teaches us that silence is not passive, it is active strength. It robs manipulators of their reward, your reaction. Next time someone throws such a question at you, try silence. Breathe, smile, and notice how powerless their words suddenly become. But there's one more manipulative question, perhaps the most dangerous. It's the emotional hostage question. It sounds like, "If you loved me, wouldn't you do this?" This is emotional blackmail, and it often comes from those closest to us. The Stoics did not teach us to be cold or detached from people. They taught us to love wisely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them." The Stoic response is what I call compassionate redirection. You answer, "I love you, but love is not proven by obedience. It's proven by honesty and respect." This protects the relationship while refusing manipulation. It's not harsh, it's firm kindness. You maintain love, but you refuse to let love be used as a chain. At this point, you've seen 5 classic manipulative questions and 5 Stoic answers that transform them into opportunities for strength. Clarification breaks the loaded trap. Principle overcomes guilt trips. Perspective dissolves comparison. Silence conquers provocation. Compassionate redirection ends emotional blackmail. Together, these form a shield forged in Stoic wisdom. A shield that makes you calm, confident, and immune to the liars who seek to control you. But what's even more powerful is what happens next. When you live these answers daily, you don't just defend against manipulation, you rise above it. Now let's step back and see the bigger picture. Life will never run out of liars, flatterers, or manipulators. In your workplace, in politics, on social media, even in your closest relationships, there will always be someone trying to control you with words. But here's the essence of Stoicism. You can't control what they ask, but you can always control how you respond. And in that control lies your freedom. Marcus Aurelius, journaling in his tent amidst wars and betrayals, reminded himself daily that the world's noise was less important than the discipline of his own soul. Epictetus, though born a slave, lived freer than many emperors because he mastered his reactions. Seneca, navigating treacherous politics, survived longer than most because he learned to remain calm where others panicked. Their wisdom is not just ancient, it's eternal. So let's recap these 5 answers and turn them into a code for daily living. When faced with a loaded question, don't defend, clarify. When faced with a guilt trip, don't fold, stand on principle. When tempted by comparison, don't shrink, answer with perspective. When provoked, don't react, embrace silence. When emotionally blackmailed, don't submit, redirect with compassion. These are not just tactics, they are mindsets. They remind you that manipulators only win if you let them define the game. By responding with Stoic wisdom, you change the rules entirely. Ask yourself, how many sleepless nights have you wasted replaying conversations where you felt trapped, embarrassed, or controlled? Imagine if you had these 5 answers ready, not as tricks, but as natural extensions of who you are. Imagine walking into every situation knowing no liar could shake you. That is what Stoicism offers. Not the absence of challenges, but the presence of unshakable calm in the middle of them. And here's the deeper truth. Every manipulative question you face is not just a test of words, it's a training ground for your soul. It's an invitation to practice self-mastery. So the next time someone tries to control you with a question, pause, breathe. Remember the 5 answers. Choose one. Not in anger, not in fear, but in strength. And when you walk away unshaken, you'll feel something incredible. Freedom. Freedom from lies, freedom from control, freedom from the endless games people play. The Stoics called this living in accordance with nature, choosing reason, virtue, and self-mastery over chaos. This is your path too. Stay disciplined, stay calm, stay unshakable. Because as the Stoics remind us, the true battlefield is not out there, it's within. And when you master your response, you master your life.